kick off the meeting tonight. I haven't been on one of these in a long time. Normally we have Bible study, so it's good to see you all. Um, and if you are local to Des Moines or the Urbandale area, I wanted to extend an invite to you and whatever guests you might have in the area. I have a really awesome opportunity to be sharing at my chiropractor's office on Thursday night at 6:30, so September 25th, 6:30. Amy and I will just be sharing the gift of activation. I've had I've been seeing this chiropractor for about 2 years now. She's helped me through all of my pregnancies and especially just today as I'm nearing 37 weeks and just really getting towards the end. She's really been a huge blessing to me. And so I reached out to her and asked if I could have an event, and she was more than open and willing. So we're very excited to hopefully have another partner in the chiropractic field. We'll see. But yeah, just if you have people in the Urbandale area, the chiropractic office is in Urbandale. I'll post it in Team Upward, the flyer. But it'll be really just a good night to come out and support each other. But also, if you have guests who are, interested in family wellness or whatnot, she specializes in pregnancy, women's health, family wellness. So if you have any friends that fall in those categories, it could be a really good night of learning and just getting to know a really awesome chiropractor. They're all really great. But yeah, that's what I've got.
I love it. Thanks, Jess. Hey,
Mhm.
everyone. It's been a while since I've been able to be on too. Um, we are being led tonight by Katie, and I know she was going to be pulling into her driveway right at this time. So we're kind of filling in until she gets on here. But kind of like Jess said, just it's so cool how you never know where a connection might take you. And I think that one word that is continuing to resound in my head throughout the stuff of the last week and just a lot of hard things is to be bolder. We just need to be more bold. And there was one song that we sang in church about Lord, make us bolder. And I think that that's so cool. Like, of course, we want to be bold in our faith first and foremost, but I think that we hold back a lot we have great ideas with LifeVantage, but we hold back because we're scared. And God's spirit is not a spirit of fear. And so whenever we have that, we need to tell that to go away and say, Lord, make me bolder. And if he's called you into sharing LifeVantage with somebody, I love how Jess just opened that door. She's not, putting the expectation on this woman to be a consultant before she hosts. She just said, hey, would you open your doors? I'll come speak. And we can bless people through that. And she's seen the information and she loves it. And I think that this would just be the next step for her. So think about that too in, how can we be bolder in sharing the message of activation and what does that look like? Has somebody been laid on your heart that you've just been scared to talk to? Have you been putting it off? Have you been making excuses? And yeah, so I just wanted to encourage you guys with that. I will be there on Thursday and would love to see more people. And then if you are local, I know not everybody on here is local, but if you're not local, take it as you step up and be the person for your local area. We are just doing a team brunch Saturday morning. And I know weekends can get kind of crazy, but I was talking to Ashley Lester and we were talking about community and how every time we get together, it's just a blessing. Um, so why wait till October when we can all have a reunion in Dallas? Let's just have a brunch and get together here. So we're doing that. Um, if you're in your own area, I want to encourage you to just have a get together, just a fellowship. I think it'll be more of just fellowship and food for us, but then I also want to guide conversation in a couple ways to give encouragement, directed encouragement towards different obstacles that people might be having. So that is this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. in my town, and that's also posted in the local Telegram group. But with that said, I think Katie just hopped on, so I'll just segue right into Dallas, you guys. Get to Dallas. I know there are obstacles for every single one of us, me included. And we all know what happens at events. We all know that it's not just something that takes our money, it's something that gives us so much more in return. It's an investment in ourselves, in our relationships, in our community. And I think it's just a really just yeah, let me know where you're at with that. I just want to hear the pulse from the team on where you're at with that and who are you boldly asking to come along too. So with that said, Katie is home. I see her face. Katie, we just talked about some local events and we talked a little bit about Dallas and the importance of getting there. And I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Well, it's fun to see everybody tonight. I have a little guest. Hopefully she'll participate kindly. But we are super excited about some promotions that just dropped today. And so I wanted to be able to share these with you because it could be a great incentive for the next 10 days for you and your business. So there was an email that dropped, I think it was at 4:30 that I saw mine come through with this summary. And then there are links in the communications hub as well with some graphics and images that you can pull from. But I'm just going to go through each one high level for you. So the first one and probably the easiest one, sorry for the distractions, the easiest ones to wrap your mind around is that high-speed health stack. So as you know, it's been available for free consultant enrollment at the price of $245. And that also contains the free NAD, just like it does for customers. The customer price is staying at $275, but from now until the end of the month, they are dropping the consultant price down to an even $200. So that's an additional $45 off, which makes that entire stack 47% off for new consultants.
Curious if you guys can see the screen that I'm sharing.
Thank you, Amy.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
Yep. So $200. And one of the nice things about this is that they are not adjusting that sales volume associated with it. So normally when there's a sale on a stack, it also subsequently decreases that sales volume. So keep in mind that if you are giving people consultant enrollment codes, that will decrease your sales volume. Okay. So some ideas that I've heard other people that are doing, if they had a code and they really wanted to use it, they're offering to send like Venmo on the back end for something if you needed that extra incentive. So then that way the person had the equivalent discount, but it didn't adjust their sales volume. But there is nothing saying you should or have to do that. I'm just passing along ideas that I've heard chatter from elsewhere.
Get the sweeper for me.
So are there any questions before I move on about that stack? So we're pretty familiar with that one. It is my understanding, Amy, correct me if you've heard anything different, that this will be the last month of that high-speed health stack that includes the free NAD. The rest of the stack may or may not stick around without the NAD, but it is definitely most likely ending with the free NAD and the free enrollment. Okay, so that would mean that if the stack were to stick around October 1, it would be Nerve 2, Mind Body, and Fat Burn. Okay, so that also means anyone that you have enrolled on subscription on that stack, their NAD is going to drop off unless they go in and add the NAD separately.
I just think that that's a huge, huge deal. I can just think of very simply, and I don't know, Katie, if you were going to say this, going through like our app customer list and checking in with people who have already ordered, or just reigniting the conversation of people who never jumped in and be like, hey, for the rest of the month, it's only $200. That's 47% off. Let's go.
Okay, so it gets better. The next one is an incentive for you as the enroller to earn an extra $200 bonus for every 3 consultants that you enroll or re-engage. I'll talk about that part in a second. between now and the end of the month that come in on subscription with at least 200 sales volume on that initial order. Okay. So that could be this high-speed health enrollment stack because they're not dropping the sales volume associated with it. Or it could be one of the other stacks of at least 200 sales volume. Note that you yourself need to have an active subscription in the month of September for you to be qualified, but there is no cap on the number of times that you could max out that $200 bonus. So let's talk about the re-engagement piece. If you have consultants that have not been active since June and you re-engage them, they also will qualify. So that means that they did not have an order placed personally from June, July, August, or yet through September 19th. Okay, so if you re-engage those individuals with their own order, 200 sales volume or more, setting them up on subscription, that will count as one of your 3 for the bonus. I don't know how much international markets we have on Team Upward, but you'll see in the slide there that this is for the USA, Mexico, Canada, Europe, Great Britain markets. Are there any questions around that one? You guys are making my job way too easy.
Anybody brainstorming ideas already? Like, what does that conversation sound like for you guys?
I think for me, I can speak that I can. If you go bring your bike, I'll help you.
Come over there.
For me, there's a handful of people that I just haven't yet followed up with that I know are interested. So I plan to make my list before I go to bed tonight and see who's available for a chat this week, because this is a great opportunity for them. Okay, the next one on the list then is one that, let's look at the picture that Amy just posted. If you are wondering if any of your consultants would qualify for that re-engagement, there is an opportunity in your back office to pull a report and filter appropriately to be able to see who is eligible. So when you log into your account, just like you are managing your own orders, instead of clicking on manage subscriptions, if you scroll down lower on, there's the option for the back office. And then when you click into the back office, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there is a report option called detailed genealogy. And then if you screenshot your screen right now, that will walk you through the steps of how to actually pull that report and see who is eligible based on last order date. Okay, next slide, Amy. Is there another one or was that the last one?
Is there one you're looking for?
No, I didn't know if there was one for the 500 sales volume. If not, I'll just talk about it because that one everybody has heard about. Just a reminder that if you have 500 new sales volume in the month of September, that's personally enrolled customers or consultants, then you are eligible to be able to purchase the Love Biome activated product of P84. So you may have heard, hopefully you've heard now some lingo around that, but when I was at Girl Summit last weekend, I had an opportunity to have supper with Jake Hines, and we were kind of asking him a little bit more about Love Biome and their product lineup, and why the focus is really just on P84 and not the rest of the lineup right now. And they said that's because P84 is a true activator. It fits within our lineup really well. And so that's where we're focusing our target to get started. So we should all have access November 1 to order that. But for people that are uber excited about it, if you want to get your hands on it early, then 500 new sales volume between now and the end of the month makes you eligible to order it in October.
So I love that too, that there's 2 promotions right now, but they run hand in hand. In that first one, if you were to find 3 people to get any 200 SV order. So that's a customer upgrading as a consultant. It's a brand new person getting started with the high-speed health stack. Any of it, 3 people, you get a $200 bonus for every 3 that you bring in, and then you're automatically qualified with the 500 SV that's giving you free early access to that product and getting a head start in your promotion of it. So just kind of a cool thing that they're just running those together.
Yeah, a lot of stacking with these. And if you are close in the running for Mexico, there are point incentives with these promotions as well too, but I won't bore you with those details because it's kind of overwhelming to listen to. I feel like it's one of those that you kind of need to see to understand. So those are available in the communications hub or in the email that was sent out this afternoon, or I would say reach out to your direct upline if you think you're close for that. The qualification for that period is also ending at the end of this month. And I know we do have some people that are really close. So any other thoughts or questions? Otherwise, I can keep talking about Growth Summit. I'm still on a high from that. It's a week ago, but every single one of you, and I saw in the Momentum Academy email that came out today, Momentum Monday, they already had information about how to qualify for the next Growth Summit. You all need to put that on your radar. It is totally doable. Especially with these types of incentives. And then we have a whole acquisition of a new company that we're going to have access to. I don't know if you guys have seen that stat, but the global market of gut health products is supposed to just completely explode in the next like 3 to 5 years. And so the timing of us partnering with Love Biome is really, really timely from that standpoint. So, if you've watched any of my overviews or heard me talk, I am a firm believer that everything starts in the gut. That's not new. Hippocrates knew that 2,000 years ago, but it is a new way of thinking still for a lot of people. So yes, we have our prebiotic. Yes, we have our probiotic. We have our mind body. Those are all helping with the gut, even the collagen. But I wouldn't say those are gut activators. So I am super pumped up to be able to learn more about P84. And I hear that's what Dallas is going to be focused on. So I haven't seen a specific agenda myself. But I will tell you that by me going in April to Global, I became pretty good friends with someone who now has since then been promoted to the scientific advisory board. And so her phone is probably, she's probably tired of me sending her suggestions and ideas for new studies and things that we need to tweak or new activators. But I love it because her and I are sharing ideas and visions back and forth all the time. So, and we were sitting in the healthcare professionals meeting together, right, last time. So you never know who you're going to meet and what avenues or doors that's going to open up for you. And so if you are on the fence about going, I haven't yet booked my flight. I would love to commute with you down there, share a flight schedule. Let me know if you're going to be flying out of the Des Moines area because I'm going to probably need to book that here pretty soon. So, and there are usually other people that have tickets. So there's access to that. There is a thread on the One Person Big Difference team that has been pinned for all things Dallas. There's a Telegram chat about it as well. So yes, we would love to have more people there to be able to build off of the momentum. Momentum Academy and the momentum of the acquisition of Love Biome. I see a question that just popped in about Love Biome. You have questions about how Love Biome products will or will not synergize with LifeVantage products having been created outside of LifeVantage. Yes, so do we. That's the cool thing about Dallas is that we're going to be hopefully the first to be able to have access and hear that information. I do know this is not like special information, but just information that was shared on that original call when they announced the acquisition. By the way, if you haven't started listening to the Activation Nation podcast, do a search for that in your podcast store because that is one of the best ways to hear recordings of some of the great calls of different leaders, including corporate staff. And I actually re-listened to that initial call today. It was the one that dropped on the podcast with Kristen Cunningham, Chief Sales Officer, and Steve Fife, the CEO. as well as the CEO of Love Biome. But in that call, they talked a little bit about the history of the partnership. And it came on relatively quickly, I would say, this summer, but it wasn't something that we hadn't thought about. Like, we were actively looking for partners. And one of the conversations that we had at the table last weekend at Girl Summit was that when you have a company that doesn't have debt, you have a few different options to do with your revenue, right? And so there's something about buying stock shares back. That's above my pay grade. I can't explain that one, but I do know that that was given as an option. Or another one is to acquire a company, right? And we are still debt free after this acquisition, which still blows my mind. Like, the capacity that our CEO has, and many of you know this, but our current CEO was formerly the CFO. And we played a little icebreaker activity of bingo Friday night. And he played with us, and he signed my card on the one that said, "This is my first job in network marketing." Like, who would have thought that a CEO that's bringing these incredible ideas to our company at such a crucial time in the health marketing industry, when literally it seemed like there for a while, every other week we were hearing of other companies that were shutting down. We are debt free, and we are acquiring other companies and still maintaining debt free. So let that sink in for a little bit in terms of where we're at. The number of people that I met at Growth Academy, or that at Growth Summit, that had been elsewhere and come here, they still can't believe the compensation plan that we have. And even Love Biome, when they were in the home office learning about it, they were giving standing ovations multiple times over again, at just in awe at what this company does to pour back into its consultants. So I just can't say enough good things about the people and my experience there. And I would love to see all of you reach that at the next point. I think it's in April is the next one. So to be eligible for it, the first goal is to hit MC1. That's 10,000 in sales volume. And the one thing to remember is, even if you are this close to it, or you are what feels like miles away from it, just work your business a little bit every single day. Some days that might be 90 seconds is all you have, right? Other days it might be an hour. But if you're moving the needle every single day, all it takes is one conversation, one person to say yes, and they explode. And all of a sudden you're there. So the person that spoke, Courtney Watkins, was one of our main speakers. She was at Growth Summit just a year ago. And now this year, she had a whole team of people that have since qualified. And she had one connection from one person that shared it with someone else. That person went live and sold 40,000 in volume overnight. Can you imagine that, what that would do to your business? And that was just one connection that she had. So don't compare yourself to anyone else and where they're at in this strategy or in this business. It's easy to be like, oh, that person's at this rank, or they have this much volume. What are they doing? You have no idea what that looks like in terms of their downline. That could be two people holding a bulk of that business, right? So I just was super inspired by the number of people that I met, which was the vast majority that had been there 3 to 7 years and then 7 to 15 years. Like, the constant, slow, steady activation every single day, continuing in their own journey with it and just sharing it with others as they go, whatever that looks like. It looks different for every single person in that room. Still gets people further along in this business than not doing anything or than giving up on it. And what I always come back to, if I have days where I feel like, oh man, nothing's really moving forward. You want to say hi? You want to tell people your name? When I find myself kind of in a slump, I just have to remind myself that I have invested enough time over the years in my profession looking at hundreds of other things to know that this is drastically different. And so if you find yourself doubting, like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to be putting my time into?
Mom.
I can promise you that this is unique. And that was just only reaffirmed last weekend with the people that I met. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has, but I also appreciate you jumping on tonight and bearing with my helper. So
I love watching The Helper because it's just proof that children aren't the excuse. No, they're the helpers in the whole process. Hi, Stella.
no,
Does
I
anybody
think
have
it's
questions?
totally doable for just know that we are always here for you. We are never we get it. There's seasons. There's seasons for everybody where we're ramped up and other seasons where we have to pull back. And we completely understand that. We just don't ever want, I tell my team all the time, I don't want to be bugging you. I'm just dropping you information so that you can't say, I didn't know that, or you didn't tell me that. But what you do with it when I share it with you is up to you. So focus with distraction. My trick is Axio. Thanks, Stephanie.
All right, everybody. Well, if you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, we will hop off and let you get ready for the next call. Take your bathroom break, your food break, whatever it is.
Re-download your launch guide because there's a great tracker on there that will help you look at. I was just having a conversation today with one of my teammates who kind of feels like she's tapped out her market. And it's amazing, even for myself, when I start thinking about the people that I've talked to, but then I think about, well, where are they at in the ITT system? Did I invite them, but I haven't shared something with them, or I shared a tool with them, but I haven't followed up to see if they've watched it. I know Jillian has a great training. I think it's in the first 48 hours. Jillian, if you're still on, if you can clarify where that's at, but she has a really good training about how she strategizes that outreach. She doesn't even send the tool until she has someone committed that will tell them when they're going to watch it. And I think that is so valuable. And I even forget that because I just get in a hurry and I'm like, oh, here you go. You have access to it. Watch when you can. And then it's crickets sometimes, right? But I always remind myself, and I was just telling this to someone else today, that they reached out initially because they had an interest. They had a need, right? Like they wanted help. And everybody gets busy. And it's easy to get in our heads about like, oh, I don't want to bug them. But I think more times than not, people appreciate that we're still looking out for them, especially when you have an opportunity like this one to be able to share a great promotion with them. So that's the launch guide if you need to find that.
Yeah, I think that's in the first 48 hours. I know for sure it's in boards, but I just found that that cuts out an extra step that can be missed. Like follow up is hard enough. I feel like I'm like the fortune is in the follow up, and it's so incredibly true. But I just felt like I was following up so much, and I wasn't setting the expectation where the person I was talking to knew what was expected, and I also knew what was expected. Because I would just send a video, and there's people I sent a video to 9 years ago. I mean, I followed up with one of them a month ago, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I really should watch that." And I'm like, "You think?" But just setting the time beforehand, they know what the expectation is. And there's a lot of people that are like, "Hey, I didn't get to it." I'm like, "That's totally fine. Life is crazy. It's insane. But this is important." And I truly have no expectation over you. I just know that it could be something for you. And just that conviction, just setting from appointment to appointment is so important.
Thank you, Jillian. All right, go have a wonderful evening. Thanks for jumping on, and best wishes the next 10 days and forward. See you in Dallas.
Thank you, Katie.
Yes, thank you.